My name is Kylie Taker. I am interviewing Hillary Polander. It is October 24th at 4:21 p.m. at the Ruth Patrick Science and Education Center. All right, Ms. Polander, could you tell us where you were born and raised?
Cleveland, Ohio.
All right. What was it like growing up in that area?
Cold. Yes, very cold. Cleveland's one of the more, it's a pretty rundown city, small town, people kind of know everybody, but been there pretty much my whole life.
All right. Could you tell us a little bit about your family?
I was raised by a single mother. I don't have any siblings, and I don't have much contact with other families, so it's pretty much just me.
All right. What was high school like for you?
I was actually a 4.0 kind of student, surprisingly. I got really good grades and everything. I was a cheerleader, though I'm not the peppy type. It was more for the gymnastics aspect of it and, free rides to every game and just to be involved with the school, I guess. But besides that, pretty straightforward. I took AP classes and all that stuff, and I graduated with a 4.0.
Wow. Were you a part of any other clubs or organizations during high school?
Besides the cheerleading, no.
No.
And we weren't a huge school, so it wasn't competitive or anything like that. It was pretty small time.
All right. I'd like to start talking about your military life now. When did you enlist in the United States Marine Corps?
May of 2010, I was getting ready to graduate that next month. Though I had the really good grades, I had no funding to go to college, and I just wanted to be out on my own. So before I graduated, I decided just to sign that line, and I did it.
All right. Why did you choose the Marine Corps as your branch of service?
Definitely a pride kind of thing, and beforehand you don't know if you're going to deploy or anything like that, and I always thought, if I was going to deploy, who did I want next to me? I wanted the Marines to come with me, or I wanted the best training possible before I was going to do something like that, so I really just wanted the challenge as well.
All right. My dad is a Marine, and he always tells me that his first memory of Parris Island was pulling up, and the drill sergeant gets on the bus, and he's like, "Hello, welcome to Parris Island, the Marines recruit depot," and he's like, "Welcome," and he screams, "Now get off my bus!" I was just wondering, did you have a similar first experience?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty close to it. As we're coming up, it's actually the bus driver. They told us to stick our head between our legs, and they turn on the lights on the inside of the bus because it's dark on the outside. So if you're trying to look out to see what's going on, you just look at your own reflection. But as you're coming up, like I said, your head's between your legs, and that's when we pull up, stop. The drill sergeant gets on and says the same thing, and we're heads down, IDs holding up, and then he's like, "I'm about to say, get off as fast as you can. You're going to step on my yellow footprints, and your life's about to change." And then he's like, "Get on my bus!"
Yeah.
And then it's just like smashing in the aisles and like running off and onto the yellow footprints.
That's crazy. All right. What was your favorite memory from boot camp?
Gosh, I guess it's hard to pick out one of them because it's really when the drill instructors would make you just kind of do something embarrassing. Well, it's embarrassing at that time, but now that you look back at it, it's pretty funny. Since I'm pretty short, I'm 5'1", they made me get into a sea bag and have someone close it and lock me in it, and I was screaming "I ma'am" from the inside for about 5 minutes and rolling around the floor, basically. So, then it wasn't so exciting, but now it's pretty funny, and, it's just something that's never going to happen again, so I guess I really enjoy it now. But I guess I'd also have to say just some of the training events, going down the rappel tower. I wouldn't say the gas chamber was fun, but those are just things that you'll never really do again being out of the military, so I miss those.
All right. What was the most challenging thing about your time in boot camp?
Hungry. Just hungry all the time. You get, the 3 meals a day, but that's it. And when you are at the chow hall able to eat, you probably got a couple minutes to kind of just shovel the food in as fast as you can, and then you're up and out again. So it's, you're not able to snack in between or do anything. You're constantly being active and running around. So just being hungry was hard, and you're obviously pretty tired too. Sleep, you get to do it from about 8 to 4, but then every other night you're on a 2-hour watch. So that could be at any time throughout the night. So you're not really getting through a full night always either. So it's just tired and hungry.
Yeah. All right. Do you think that boot camp changed you?
Yeah, I'd say it did. I guess like mental discipline is like a lot higher than beforehand. Um, yeah, just stuff like that. Physically, I know I'm like capable of a lot more than I was before.
Is there any other stories or things you would like to tell us about Parris Island that we haven't addressed?
I guess it's really funny how they, just like I said, the things that the drill instructors will do just to make it worse for you. That's not funny then, but funny now. We, sand fleas, when it gets pretty hot out, they bite you constantly, but they don't tell you you're not allowed to smack them away or anything like that. So sometimes you're allowed to put, they call it bug juice, we're allowed to put some bug repellent on, but as a disciplinary action, sometimes they'd have you put the bug juice on, but then go roll around in the sand pit and have all the sand stuck to you, and you're getting up and down off the ground, screaming, "I ma'am," running around here, push-ups, whatever. Just a lot of like the small things like that you'll never experience again is what made it Parris Island.
All right. After boot camp, where did you go?
Went home for 10 days. And then after 10 days, they send you to North Carolina for Marine combat training for 30 days.
Where in North Carolina is that?
I believe it was Camp Johnson, technically.
Camp Johnson. What were some of the things that you did there?
It wasn't necessarily as harsh as boot camp where they're watching over you 24/7, but you're still getting yelled at and like hazed in a way, like physically. But it's a lot of like, since it's specific combat training, it's a lot of being outside, so going on really long hikes with heavy packs, learning how to operate machine guns. It's where you got to throw grenades for the first time, just doing a lot of stuff like that.
Wow. And where was the next place you were stationed?
29 Palms, California. The Mojave Desert.
Oh, wow. And what was your job while you were there?
That's where I was training for my job. So it was my MOS school, which was Air Support Operator. So my job was going to be keeping in contact with ground units when they need airstrike or medevac help. And I was basically one that radioed up to the pilots, kind of coordinated airspace or tell them, like, they're dropping this here, or if it's a medevac, I have to have the 9-line information. And I'm also keeping in touch with other communication agencies on, like, basically we need permission. We can't just send helicopters ourselves. We have to get the permission, and it's a lot of extensive work with that. There's about 6 different positions within my job you can sit. So that's where I was training to do that, and I was there for about 7 months doing that.
Where did you go after you completed your training?
They sent me to Cherry Point, North Carolina.
All right. And you were part of Air Support Squadron 1 there?
Yes.
Can you tell us what a typical day was like for Air Support Squadron 1 member?
They're the chieftains, so they're very prideful on that. Usually wake up morning, we'd have either platoon or even a squadron PT session. So we'd meet up for that, have about an hour to change, eat, and then get back. And if they had some kind of drill set up for us, we'd have to go to the supply building, get all of the tents. We had a communication squadron also with us who set up all our computers and radios. Because though we operated them, we didn't set them up ourselves, luckily. Those are all the comm guys, so we would have the comm guys set up all of our stuff. The officers and the staff sergeants and whoever would have a stimulated kind of war situation already at hand. And they'd start, sending feedback through the radio, and we'd have to, like, process it like it was actually happening. We have a huge TV screen. We had, like, maps we had to be plotting on, just like this is happening in, like, real time. And we work directly with officers, and they're the ones that are coordinating with the pilots, like, make sure they're not going to run into each other in the airspace and everything. So we basically get through a drill, which it would usually entail a couple airstrikes and at least, like, 1 medevac. And then after it was done, we get kind of like a review session of like, who did what wrong, how can we make it faster, because situations like that are very dependent on how fast we can work. And so it's just to make us better at our job. So we did those pretty much constantly. And after that, that was pretty much it.
Right.
Well, tear down the tents and do all that back in and put them back away.
All right. When did you leave the military?
January 2014.
What was your final rank when you left?
Lance Corporal.
Lance Corporal. All right. Is there anything else you would like to share with us about your military service that we haven't talked about?
I guess that's the fact with being in the Marine Corps. Like I said, it's kind of like a prideful thing, but like the bond between Marines and everything that you experience within the Marine Corps is nothing that you're ever gonna like be able to see again. And there was this thing that my unit did. It was called the Chieftain Run. Happened once a year, and it would be 2 Marines at one time, but it would be a continuous 24-hour run that was happening. So 2 people would be set for a 1-hour time slot, basically. And I mean, they'd have like, a designated path that we go up and down, and radios, and keep in contact with people, especially when it's 2, 3 in the morning and we got people out there running and stuff. And one person will be holding the chieftain flag, the other with the radio, and it was because of a chieftain, had been killed in combat so many years before that, and it was basically to honor them. So, like I said, the kind of like bond and like the thing that we do for people, we have no idea who that person was, but we still continue to do the Chieftain Run every year in their memory.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's not really cool when you're slotted for the 3 a.m. slot, but
I could see why that would be
yeah,
hard.
yeah, it's a cool like idea, and like I said, our unit's the only one on that base that did something like that. So
That's cool. All right. Once you left the military, did you begin working or go to school?
I went straight to going to school. The spring semester started about 3 weeks later. It wasn't a great idea to do that, but that's what I did. I went straight to Ohio State.
All right. What was it like to go straight into it? Was it difficult to transition?
It was. At first, it really didn't even seem real. I was kind of just going through the motions. I was registered for classes. I knew, I was figuring out where I needed to go, getting to campus, where on campus, Ohio State, about like 20 blocks worth of a school, So at first it really didn't like seem real, but then once I wasn't taking it necessarily seriously, I wasn't learning in the classes, I was still just worried about everything else going on, like getting around the city and like where I was at and stuff. So once, the first kind of tests and assignments started coming up, I really realized like what I had gotten myself into. I was signed up for full-time right away, and it didn't work out very well for me.
Where did you go after you left Ohio State?
I took about a year and a half off from school, period. I wasn't sure what I wanted, but then I went to Columbus State and got certified as a pharmacy technician. It was just kind of something to fall back on. Easy enough to get, it was 1 semester of school, just trying to get back into learning in a classroom setting again, and then after that is when I transferred here.
When did you transfer?
This is my first semester here.
First semester?
Yes.
All right. Why did you choose USC Aiken?
Well, they're #1 for veterans transitioning out of the military and everything, so I thought that was very important because Ohio State being so big, I didn't really get a lot of help. They kind of, threw me into the classes, got, the registration part and stuff set up, but then other than that, they were like, see you next semester. I didn't really have any kind of friends or bonds between anybody. I was pretty much on my own. I do have some military friends already in the Augusta area, so I knew some people down here already, but also the classroom size. At Ohio State, my class was 300 to 600 people in one lecture. Found it very overwhelming and distracting. It just wasn't for me, and down here, they say it's a typical, 30 to 40 student in the bigger classes, so that's helped me out a lot too.
That's good. So was your transfer over to USC Aiken a little bit easier, or was it?
It was a lot easier. Well, the physical move itself definitely sucked, but before I had even done anything to enroll here, the veterans office was calling me, telling me, what needed to happen, or just like, hey, come in so we can like get you set up, meet people, all that kind of stuff. And they were there. They got everything done so quickly and easily. I didn't even think it was possible.
So the Veterans Center helped you with your transfer?
Definitely, and like they still continue to. Any little issue, it might not, nothing to do with the military, or just like, hey, the school just sent me a weird, letter that says I owe something for my ID card. Like, what is this? And they're like, we got it, and they take care of it for you. So they go beyond just getting you enrolled here.
I'm glad. All right. What major are you pursuing?
Chemistry.
Chemistry? That's hard.
Yeah, it's definitely a big, workload to take on, but I've taken a lot of times and, got the pharmacy tech certification. If I wanted more than that, so, I'm just kind of tired of waiting around, and I'm like, I just gotta, go for it and do my best.
Would you say that your military service impacted the major that you're pursuing?
I don't really think a lot of Marine Corps veterans pursue chemistry, but In a way, because my end goal is forensic science, so forensics in like criminal justice and everything, I guess, would tie into some military experience and everything like that. So in a way,
Um, so you want to accomplish forensic science. How do you feel that your peers and professors treat you, knowing that you're a Marine?
they give me, I guess, a lot more. I don't say they don't respect other students at all or anything, but they kind of give me more a benefit of the doubt with certain things. Like when I was transferring here, for your first schedule, I had to talk to the chemistry chair, Dr. Leverett. He has to be the one that gets your first schedule kind of going and sign off on it, so that they pay for. He says like this is what you need for the chemistry degree, because then the VA will pay for it in that case. And I had already had a chemistry 101 class. Technically, it didn't transfer as an equivalent here. But because I got an A in that class, and I feel like just being a veteran and everything like that, he overrode me into the general chemistry one, so I didn't have to start over in 101 again. So they kind of just give you a little more benefit of the doubt that they know that our work ethic is a lot harder than most people. Non-traditional students tend to work a lot harder because we know how it is on the outside. So just a benefit of the doubt thing, I guess.
Right. Do you find that your family or friends treat you differently now after your military service?
Yeah, in some ways. Definitely not my mom, though. I feel like she doesn't even, realize I was a Marine sometimes. I'm still, just like her little girl that needs help or something. And I'm like, I got this. Like, be careful walking around campus. I'm like, seriously. It's fine. Most of my friends are military members, so we all just stick together, act the same. Don't have a lot of civilian friends, I guess.
All right. Have you noticed a change in any of the activities or hobbies you've been pursuing?
Post-military, I got into hardcore powerlifting. It was I was dealing with anxiety, like I said, moving to Ohio State, all this stuff going on. It was just kind of my exit, and I started really enjoying it. I was pretty good at it, so I decided to take it seriously. So I've done powerlifting competitions. And then within the past year, I did my first bodybuilding competition. So the military really helped with the mental discipline with that as well. The very strict eating, the working out regimen twice a day, 5 days a week, all that kind of stuff. So I guess I probably wouldn't have pursued that in any other way.
Well, that's good. Have you won any awards for them?
Oh gosh, no.
No.
Nothing serious. I mean, those women that I go up against, they've been doing that about 10, 15 years. It's really one of those things you have to put time into to do well, and it was just, I can say I've done it, so now it's pretty much I just study all the time.
Oh, yeah. Are you still involved in any of the same activities or hobbies that you were before your military service?
No, like I said, I had done cheerleading and everything, so I'm not cheerleading now. Really, for me to do well in school, I really have to put time in and study. I don't know if it's, that huge gap in education time that, I just don't retain it as fast as most of my other students and everything, but I just put a lot of time into school now because I'm ready to, just knock it out.
All right. Are there any other topics about your current education or work or anything that you'd like to talk about before we move on?
I don't, full time here, I don't have to work, luckily, which is another benefit of, serving your time is, you get the housing stipend and stuff, so it's pretty much here and that's all.
All right. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully having my first real stable job. Forensic science is the kind of thing, I can't say I know a forensic scientist. I'm not sure the exact pathway to get there. It's not necessarily a common kind of thing, and none of the professors here really know. So I will have to reach out to kind of find a actual pathway to there. I do know the first step is achieving my bachelor's in chemistry. I'm pretty sure that I either need to go for a master's of some sort or do an apprenticeship in shadowing a forensic scientist in some kind of federal lab or whatever. So if that's what I have to do, I'm willing to do that. So hopefully if I'm just either not working a regular chemist job, I'm shadowing another forensic scientist and at least getting on the path to practicing on my own.
That's definitely a very good goal.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to share with us about any of your military service or current endeavors?
Pretty much covers it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. I want someone with the.